And what do you have to say about the hate man?
About the hate man? That's the hate man more better in the world I meet. Best.
And
it's a hate man by.
Did you get those cigarettes from the hate man?
Yeah. And I push it. I push it like that. Push it. Hey, my English is not good, you know. I'm speaking Spanish.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'm Latino. You know?
How paranoid you were about your last documentary, Adrian?
What do you mean the last one?
The one that was shown on campus and they were going, fuck you and everything. And
oh, I am still paranoid about that one. Did you see that one?
Yes, I have.
So, I've heard that you're called the hate man. And why do you call yourself this?
Well, because I hate everybody. And I want people to say I hate you, to trust you. That's how I trust people. If you're willing to say I hate you, you don't have to mean it. So it's a new usage of the word hate. The traditional usage, which is defined in the dictionary as hostility, is the way we've been doing it throughout human history, where we're saying it about someone who's not here. So that's heavy. It's like if we're angry at somebody and they're not here and we're saying, yeah, I'm pissed at so-and-so. Third person, that's somewhat heavy. If we can say it to the person or in the I-thou mode, so if it's I hate you, like if I was angry at you, Ryan, here, and even though you weren't here and I'm talking to somebody else, ideally I'd role play it and be saying that the person is you, and I'd say, well, let's say if I was talking to you, Brian, about my mother, if I was thinking about my mother, who's not here, dead actually, but
so there's more of like a camaraderie, like a
Winona,
brother.
My mother. So that's caring. This is my.
So there's more of like a camaraderie or a brotherly.
Well, it's personal and it's caring, I feel. Mm-hmm. So if I was thinking about my mother, I'd say to you, Brian, yeah, and I'm thinking about my mother, I'd say, yeah, I hate you, Winona, my mother, for whatever, multitude of reasons. Keep it I-thou. I feel that makes it caring if we're saying I hate you. So this is a new definition where it's caring, responsive.
So I guess what I'm wondering is, in my personal experiments, I'm a little bit of a botanical artist, and I'm growing various plants and I'm exposing them to various words. And what I found is that the words next to the plants next to the words with like virtuous words are growing not as rapidly as the words that are like hatred or slavery or that sort of thing. And so that's why I'm coming here to interview, just because it was sort of a surprise.
Yes. Yeah, well, so your experience with it is that the plants next to the negative words seem stronger or grow more fully.
Well, initially their roots they had like an initial burst of growth, and then after the initial burst, the ones like slavery and hatred were always more vigorous, but they weren't like as vigorous as initially, where they had the initial burst of growth.
Yes.
So
yeah, I'm interested in that because there is a lot of energy in negative feelings. Now where I'm a little bit nervous, where you've said some of the words there, the negative words, those can be mean or heavy, like slavery or hatred in the usual sense. So I'm thinking,
I mean, I don't condone any of these things. I'm just saying that they made the plants grow faster. I mean, it's not like I'm
well,
saying...
there is energy there, and there was a study recently of people in old age homes, where it turns out that the people who get angry about things live longer than the people who are trying to be mellow. So if somebody was complaining about the pancakes at that meal, the people who would complain and say, well, who made these pancakes today? These are fucked.
It's funny because I just wrote a very long essay about pancakes, so I find that
Oh, really?
kind of
Okay.
funny.
Yeah, it was published a year or two ago. It was in the newspapers. And the people who complained about things, it turns out, live longer than the people who are mellow and say, oh, look, don't be upset. You know, they have other things to do. You know, shouldn't worry about things like that. And anger management is saying that now that there's a lot of energy and negative feelings, incorporate the negative feelings in the relationship. So if people are saying they're pissed at each other as they go along, that anger management is encouraging people to be able to say that they're angry with each other instead of just sitting on it, you know, letting it build up until it could get weird.
And how do you feel about, there's a man, his name is Masaru Emoto. He's a Japanese scientist, and he freezes water crystals next to positive words, and supposedly the positive words create a more symmetrical water crystal. And that's what sort of sparked my initial interest in showing the plants next to the different words.
Yes. I don't know that much about that study. I'd heard about it, but my question would be, to what extent the negative words here are caring. So and I think to some extent how people react to because plants could also be sensitive to people's feelings around them. So like you said the other day, where we talked about this for a few minutes, you said that where you had F-U-C-K-Y-O-U, that seemed to cause the most growth.
The fuck you
plant,
plant
next to it.
That one showed the most growth out of any plant.
So now that's a very simple, I believe, a caring negative. If I'm saying F-U-C-K-Y-O-U, as opposed to F-U-C-K-O-F-F, to me, that's harsh. It's dismissive. It's just saying, get out of here. I don't want to fucking hear it. Whereas, fuck you, I feel, is invariably, to a large extent, considerable extent, straightforward and caring. It's adding intensity. If I'm upset, if the preacher calls me a fool and I say fuck you, in answer, the preacher is judging me, putting me down.
So do you ever
we're
say,
saying
like,
fuck you, it's just saying I don't like what you just fucking called
do you ever
me.
say,
so that's
like,
a clear-cut caring negative by my usage, by my definition.
do you ever tell people, like, I love you? Is that something?
No, now this is a separate point, but I do not say positives. Positives are real, but I feel that to say something, positive or negative, dissipates some of the feeling. So, like, gratitude is real, it's tangible. I don't say it because to me it blows it off, it dissipates it to some extent. Whereas if I was angry at you, Ryan, say, and I say it, similarly, it dissipates some of the animosity, some of the intensity in there. And I feel if we could talk about it, get it out in the open, instead of just trying to pretend it didn't happen, or I forgive you, or things like that. If I could just say, yeah, Brian, I'm pissed, you know, you said you were going to be here and you didn't show up, or whatever it was.
So I mean,
I feel it helps to dissipate it, get through it. So I want to dissipate negative feelings.
for
I
my
have no
own
problem with positive feelings. If it's positive, I'd say do it.
For my own personal self, I was raised by some psychologists, and I don't really express anger very much. It's not something I do a whole lot. Is that something, do you have any advice for me, or? Well,
I feel this is the basic problem in relationships on the planet, is that we tend to avoid acknowledging negative feelings. And so we'll double up on the positives, and there's a whole school of psychology now that emphasizes be positive, think positive. Whereas I feel I want to be more realistic, and I want to include negative feelings in a relationship. So that's why I encourage people that I'm dealing with in my own relationships to include negative feelings in the relationship, for people to be able to say, fuck you, I hate you, I'm pissed. To me, that's healthier, and it's funnier.
So if you had, like, to your girlfriend here, you would tell her I hate you rather than I love you?
Well, I mean, I don't throw the I hate you stuff around. I would say I hate you if I'm feeling it, if I'm hating you for being late or something. If it was a positive feeling, I don't say it. I mean, my last old lady, well, we were together 5 years, we had a kid, and I never said L-O-V-E. I do not say that word. And you, my old lady, at one point when we were first hooking up, now she knew that you, Jade, you knew that I didn't, when you met, I was already being called the hate man and into this thing. And so you knew I don't like saying, but once you, Jade, pushed, we pushed for like an hour in a parking lot, because we were still outdoors at that point, for me to say the L word. And finally the cops came, the neighbors called because we started yelling at each other. You, Jade, just wanted me to say it once. I never said it. We never said it during the course of the relationship, but it doesn't mean I don't feel positive. It's just I don't want to dissipate it. I want to.
So what would you say is the most like poignant?
Do it. Don't say it.
What is the most poignant part of your philosophy? Like if you could refine your philosophy down to one sentence or 3 sentences, what would it be?
Well, to me, it's crucial that we be able to say that we hate each other as we go along. I feel that's it, really. To be able to say, fuck you, I hate you, I'm pissed, as we go along. I feel it's crucial, and I'm wary of any relationship where people are not doing that. I feel tension is gonna build up, animosity is gonna build up, and I can't imagine people being involved without doing it.
All right, so one last question. What is your system of demands? You tell people like, say a demand.
Yeah, so what I'm looking for in a relationship, I call the whole thing oppositionalism.
And maybe we could get somebody over here to make a demand or something. It would be good to have it in the film.
Well, if somebody wants something.
Yeah, give me a cigarette. Give me a cigarette.
Okay.
I'm gonna put it on the tablet.
Well, no, let's do a push.
Okay, push.
Push. Okay. How about come to the other side? Okay, so I want assertiveness, and actually this whole thing, oppositionalism, is an extreme of assertiveness. So it's being straight with each other when we're opposite.
Yeah, filtered cigarette. Pop.
Ooh, that's a hard one. My suggestion is let's
get away from the water valve.
No, so you don't fall in the hole.
I don't want to be around the hole.
Well, up a little here. Okay. So this is the way to get a cigarette without the money. So we're opposite. Pushing then is a way to.
So you sell people cigarettes, and I guess if somebody wants one
for push, right? So
for
this
free,
is the way to
then
get it without the money. So it's a way to feel it. Who wants it more? A physical type thing. So
right.
This is.
Yeah.
So I hate making a demand. Give me a cigarette or tell me the time. That's assertiveness. Adult to adult when we're opposite. On a verbal type thing. On a physical type thing, pushing is a way to resolve a conflict situation.
All right, well, thank you for your time, Hate Man.
And fuck you for saying it, Brian.
All right, fuck you too.
Push the rolling.
Give it some basic chicken.
Okay.